Hello, I'm Marlia from Kearsarge Nordic, and today I'm going to be kicking off a series of short videos to show you the basics of waxing, from all of the equipment that you're going to need to the techniques that you need to know to be the fastest skier out there. I'm going to start with the stuff that's going to be supplied to you by the coaches. First, you have these 3 brushes. This is brush 1. It's the hardest brush. Generally, you just use for cleaning, and you use it in between layers that you put on your skis. This is a mid-weight brush, typically nylon. You're going to use it after you use brush 1, both in the cleaning of the skis, in between your layers, and also you're going to use it at the end before you use this 3rd brush, which is the really fine brush. It's usually of a really fine copper. And this is your finishing brush. It's just to get all of the last little bits of wax that are still left on your ski and make your ski nice and perfect. You're also going to be given this these scrapers. There's a couple different types of scrapers you might get. This is just kind of a Swix utility scraper. It has this flat edge, which is for scraping the base of your skis. It also has these little round parts, which are for the grooves in your ski. You also might be given a combination of just kind of a plastic rectangle. This is for scraping just your flat bases, and then also a groove scraper, which you use to scrape your grooves. It also has these little kind of edge scrapers if you want to get really fancy. That's totally up to you. You're going to be given some Fiberline. This stuff is expensive, it's a little flammable, so be careful, and it's basically just for wiping your skis. So you just rip a piece off, use it to wipe the wax off of your skis, the wax dust, the shavings in between your scraping and your brushing and in between your layers. Don't use it to wipe water and dirt off your skis. You're also going to be given an iron. These are also expensive, so please try not to drop them and break them. They're pretty simple to use. The main pointers are, it gets hot, so don't touch it. It also has these 3 feet on the bottom. When you put it down, it's very important. Always make sure it's on a nice, steady, and flat surface, and it's not going to fall over and break. They're really easy to use. It has this dial on the back that basically just has the temperatures. All of the wax is going to be in Celsius, and all of the irons are in Celsius. As long as you match up the numbers, you're good to go. You're going to be given some wax. There's a bunch of different types of wax, a bunch of different colors that are all for different temperatures. The main waxes that we're going to be using are red, yellow, and blue. Here I just have some blue with me. You're going to be given these by the coaches. You're also, before you wax for races, are going to be told which wax you're going to be using. So you don't need to worry about picking your wax. You're going to get about half of this block. It's super easy to apply. I'll go over that in the waxing video. But another super, super important thing, the temperature that the iron should be set at is located right here. So this one is 150 degrees Celsius. You need to set your iron to that, no higher and no lower, because you don't want to melt too much of the wax and end up wasting it, and you also don't want to end up not getting enough on your ski because your iron isn't hot enough. This tape here, masking tape, painter's tape, don't use duct tape or scotch tape. Any sort of easily applied tape that's not going to rip off the base of your skis, essentially. So masking tape or painter's tape is going to work. This is for taping your kick zones, which is something we'll get to in another video. It's a little bit of a complex process, but it's really important because in your classic skis, there are 2 parts of your base. You have the middle, which is your kick zone, and that's where we put this kick wax, and then on the outside, you put all this glide wax. So, kick wax. This is something we're going to be using a lot in practice as well as in races, so you don't need to worry a lot about it because it's not really something you're going to be doing when you're actually waxing. That being said, we usually use Swix and Toko kick waxes. Super easy to apply. You basically just crayon it on and then rub it in with this cork. You do a couple coats. Sometimes we'll do coats of different waxes depending on the temperature, but that's something that we're definitely going to go over in practice. Sometimes on warm days, we like to use everyone's favorite, Clister. You can't eat it. Please don't try. Please. Despite that, it does look very delicious, and it's also awful to work with. It's really sticky, so if you ever end up having to clean Clister, which we'll go over, or having to use Clister, make sure you have a rag on hand that you never ever want to use again. Another super important piece is your bench. I have here a couple Swix brand footers and a clamp. What you guys are going to be getting is some wooden footers that are handmade by the coaches, and also a 3D printed clamp that the coaches and Mr. Spooner and Tech have been working to create for you. One thing to understand is that waxing gets pretty messy, so you're going to want to wear a shirt that you're okay with getting a little dirty and have something on the floor, especially if you're waxing inside. If you're outside in a garage or in a shed, it's a little less important because you can just sweep it afterwards. With that being said, let's get waxing.